No,
We're simple people.
yeah, the English language is just, yeah.
Okay, we're in the process of being Facebook Live, and wait until the recording starts, and then
Okay, we're live on Facebook.
but don't start just yet. Facebook is live?
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm very excited to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. I wish I could say that in all the languages we're translating into right now, but I'm unable to do that. So if you need Spanish, we have Steve Thorlickson, who is translating from English to Spanish under the Spanish flag. Thank you, Steve. We have Peter Kotsu, who is translating from English to Hungarian under the Japanese flag. And we have Joseph Pop, who is translating from English to Romanian under the Spanish flag. So I really want to thank the translators. I want to thank Scott Van Pelt, who is always so generous with his time and so supportive of us as Nu Skin partners. And we really appreciate your time, Scott. So without further ado, I'm so excited to welcome Joseph Chang, Dr. Joseph Chang, who is the Chief Scientific Officer and Executive Vice President of Nu Skin Enterprises. His background, I'll just give a little history. He's got a PhD in pharmacology from the University of London. Early in his career, he was the Arthritis Foundation Fellow at Johns Hopkins University. He's a member of the New York Academy of Sciences and the American Society of Pharmacology and Experimental Therapeutics. I'm going to remind myself to speak slowly for the translators. He served as a congressional subcommittee expert and served on the board of directors for Consumer Health Products Association. He's directed at different times over 60 scientists in various discoveries and research. He's published over 100 peer-reviewed papers. He's published a book on aging. He holds several patents for and is responsible for new drugs and the discovery of a novel anti-rejection drug called Rapamune, which is the second most prescribed anti-transplant rejection drug in the world. So welcome, Dr. Chang. It's good to see you again.
Great, Diana. It's great to be here this morning, at least my time is morning and evening in the rest of the world. And it's great coming on this call and talking about all the exciting things that are happening here at Nu Skin. And it's, you know, with your introduction, it reminds me about how I came into this world, and perhaps I can spend a few minutes talking about that. It's always interesting to me because, as you mentioned, I was in the drug industry where I had been developing drugs with many scientists in the team in two particular companies, Wyeth, and now subsequently with Pfizer. So it's been a really good and gratifying experience, but it really pointed me over the years that somehow developing drugs is great and it can treat a particular disease. But the more I learn about it, especially from my experience with that transplant drug that you mentioned, rapamycin, there's a lot of value still left in the natural ingredients that we can use for other purposes. And that's what really started me to think that perhaps it's time for me to come out and start thinking about health supplements, nutritional supplements, and how we can make the body stronger rather than just focusing on the particular disease. So it's great. And hopefully over the next 30 minutes or so, we can talk about this new and exciting product we have brought out. But before we begin, maybe for some of the people who are on this call, with that background, you soon realize that I'm really a scientist in that sense. And the only way that when we started Pharmanex, which was a company that I started together with some other scientists, more than 20 years ago, and now is part of Nu Skin, was the fact that we realized that really even making or developing nutritional supplements, we have to use scientific evidence or the scientific method to develop such products. And when we first look at this particular industry, of supplements and so on, we couldn't find actually a single company that is so science-based to develop their products. It was more a matter of basing it on hearsay, really some beliefs, and we really didn't feel that those products are actually science-based and that the benefits that they are claimed to deliver to the body or to a consumer are really based on data or scientific evidence. So that's really the basis of Pharmanex. And we started this company and we developed nutritional supplements very much on scientific studies and subsequently with clinical studies as well, to make sure that our products, when we make claim or when we state there is a benefit in terms of consuming this particular product, is based on scientific evidence. And for intents and purposes, for many of you who may not be scientists, is the fact that they don't believe what I say, believe in what the scientific evidence says. It's really all about that. I can share the scientific data with you and so on and so forth. And the real reason behind that is to make sure that our products in Nu Skin they are really based on scientific evidence and not just a matter of anecdotal stories and so on. You know, we now have 75 scientists in Nu Skin, and fundamentally, I believe that the acquisition of Pharmanex into Nu Skin more than 20 years ago was I like to think that as a founder of Pharmanex, that we bought Nu Skin than the other way around, you know. But we share the same vision. That
you own us. That's what we'll say. You own us. You're it.
Yeah. And just a little bit of evidence. Once again, the mere fact that I've been around for the last 20 years is that vision and that commitment to science and to making meaningful products is a commitment that Nu Skin continues to keep. You know, we invested a lot of money over the years in doing our science and developing these science-based products, both in skincare and in nutritional supplements now. It's a very strong commitment. Very few companies will do that, or in fact have the resources to do that, or even have the will or the vision and commitment to actually invest hundreds of millions of dollars into product development. So we continue. Nu Skin is an innovative company, and I think the mere fact that we have 2 research centers around the world, one here in the US, another one in China. We focus on natural ingredients, and our science has developed and continue to innovate to make sure that you have the best products possible. So with that bit of background, I think perhaps it sets the stage to talk about this latest product that we have developed and launched in Nu Skin that we call Beauty Focus Collagen Plus.
Perfect. I want to make sure that all the viewers go to the top right of their screen and where it says view and make sure they're on speaker view. So when you are listening, you get to see Joe big. You want big Joe. So I love that you explained how you ended up with Nu Skin and you know, you had a very successful business before. Pharmanex was doing a lot of sales. I know a lot of companies were looking to acquire Pharmanex, and we're so lucky. And we always say what we acquired, even though you acquired us, we've got Joe Chang. And the fact that you're still, I mean, you're a brilliant man, and you've got a good sense of humor, which we have to rein in sometimes. But but the fact that you're still interested and engaged because of the innovation that goes on here, and it was funny, just this morning I was talking to a nurse practitioner in a doctor's office, and I said, we have double-blind clinical studies done by a third party, and she stopped me and said, that's what I wanted to hear. And so I would love for you to talk about Collagen Plus, Beauty Focus Collagen Plus. Let's start with, why did we get into the collagen market? I personally never used to take a collagen product because I kept hearing they don't work. So why did we get into this market?
I think we over the years, right, and sort of looking at the skin care industry and the skincare types of products landscape, it's becoming clearer and clearer that many consumers and many folks are really interested not just to use topical products to improve skin health. They're beginning to realize and accept the evidence that if you keep the body, the inside of the body healthy, then it will translate to a benefit on the skin, right? And I like to say that there's a lot of consumer demand for it, because if you stop to think that, have you ever seen a person who's chronically sick or ill, really their skin look good? It doesn't, does it? So I think it's a realization that everybody, not just scientists, but just everybody is beginning to appreciate the fact that if we can somehow make and develop a skin supplement now, not a topical product, but an oral supplement that you can take, it will translate to significant skin benefits. So the marketplace and the science, frankly, we don't follow the other competitive companies where they simply bring out a collagen product and because the trend is there and say, okay, this one is good for you. We really wanted to make sure that the science is at a point where those benefits, those so-called theoretical benefits are actually there now. We can actually, the science is ready to develop such a product. So those are the reasons that it's a convergence of both the scientific advances together with a consumer demand. It comes together in such a good way. I think this is roughly about two and a half years ago, because we didn't develop this product overnight. So it did take us some time to develop this product. The most important thing to remember here is, although we call it a collagen plus product, it is really not just a collagen product, right? Our objective in Nu Skin is to develop an effective beauty supplement, all right? A completely different product from all the competitive collagen products out there. All right. Yes, it does contain collagen, but it also has two other ingredients that we have discovered that when you put it and blend it together with collagen, it gives you a complete beauty supplement. So when I talk about this product, I tend to say that I tend not to still say it's a collagen plus product. I like to call it a beauty focused supplement, because that's exactly what it is. It's the most complete beauty supplement that's available in the market. Not only does it deliver collagen, but it delivers the other two ingredients, bring additional benefits to the skin as well. All right. So, and maybe it's when you think about it, when I look at, we obviously have analyzed and evaluated a lot of other collagen competitive products out there. The most important thing that we find is that although they call it a collagen product, the type of collagen that they use in their product never ever actually gets to the skin tissue. So you can imagine, right? If that collagen, intrinsically, it has value and beneficial, but if it doesn't get to the skin, it's not going to do any good.
So how does ours get to the skin? Because that was exactly the complaint I've always heard, was that, and I still hear it, collagen doesn't work. It can't be absorbed. It's too large a molecule. The protein's too large. So help us with that.
And Diana, that's absolutely correct. If you use the original collagen, it's too big a molecule to go through. If you take it orally, in other words, by mouth, when it goes into the intestine, it's too big to get across the gut and get it into the blood. It cannot be, in other words, it's not in science. We would call it, it's not bioavailable. All right, it's not orally absorbed. We know that, but it's cheap. Some companies will use that because it's available, it's cheap. They just go and say, believe what I say. But we know in science and from some of our studies that it will never get through the gut and it will not be orally absorbed. What good is it? So what we did was to say, okay, what happens? Can we slice up the collagen original molecule into little bits and pieces? We call these little bits and pieces peptides. In other words, we slice it up with enzymes, all right? And the original collagen molecule. And by doing that, we have created hundreds of these collagen peptide fragments. So the next question is, okay, can you pick out the one particular peptide fragment that is still active on the skin? So that's why it took us more than 2 years. We have to literally do the scientific experiments to discover and identify the right collagen peptide. And that's what we have in our Beauty Focus product. It's not the original collagen, it's the collagen peptide, the most active and potent peptide that through our scientific studies that we can demonstrate it gets to the skin. And when it gets to the skin, it starts to rebuild itself to the original collagen.
So
you know,
I've heard that there are really only two ways to develop collagen in the skin, and one is through an injury, and the other is through an artificial injury. So to make your skin think it was injured, how does it recognize the collagen, you know, our collagen, that it needs to be in the skin? How does that make sense?
Yeah. So what happens is in our studies, what we can show with this particular peptide, once it gets to the skin, somehow the skin cells themselves have a docking station for this peptide. So it attaches on, this peptide attaches on to the skin cells, and it acts as a stimulus for the skin cell to say, okay, it's sort of like a form of injury. Now it's time for me to make more collagen.
So it's like an alarm saying kind of like, oh, we've got an issue over here that you need to address, which is why people create.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the most amazing thing, because our studies also show, in addition to acting as a stimulus, I've already hinted at the fact that this collagen peptide starts to sort of rebuild itself to the original collagen, because that's what the collagen in your skin is that it starts to reassemble itself to become that parent collagen molecule that brings benefits to the skin.
And I saw there was a question in the chat. Are we the only company that does that? And from my understanding and my research, there's no other company that can make the same claims about effectiveness that we can. I mean, I think the most that any company claims about their product is that they see a 3 to 6% increase in collagen production. Is that accurate?
Yes. And obviously any company can say what they say, right? So again, it comes back to the old comment that I've always say, you can say whatever you say because talk is cheap, but can you actually prove or do what you say? And that's what the scientific studies are all about that we have for this particular product. Now we're focused once again on a lot of collagen. I then asked or at least the team of scientists that we have, we asked the next question, and that is, it's great, you make all this collagen, but you're still exposed to the environment where your previous collagen had been destroyed or continues to be degraded. Environmental pollution, UV from the sun, and so on, those are the stress factors that actually destroy the original collagen. Why would you expect that when you make new collagen, that you won't have the new collagen being destroyed? Right? So then we say, well, in that case, we have to build a shield around this new collagen. And that's the reason why we added the second ingredient to Beauty Focus. And that is an antioxidant that we call lutein. That's the second major ingredient. So now what you have is an antioxidant that can wrap itself around the new collagen and prevent the collagen from being destroyed by free radicals. That's the reason why we have the second one.
That's the first I've heard that explained in that way. So
right, okay, and immediately some of the more astute and so technically inclined folks will say, okay, wait a minute, why did you choose lutein? There are hundreds of antioxidants around. Very true and very great question. The reason why we chose lutein was because we found that of all the antioxidants we looked at, lutein was the antioxidant that seems to have an affinity or attraction for skin tissue. Once you take it, it goes to the skin and stays there.
interesting.
Other antioxidants don't do that as well. And that's the rationale that we chose lutein to be our antioxidant protector of the new collagen that we make.
I know you keep wanting to talk about the other ingredients, but I want to back up because I mentioned that the other companies that even have studies, and none of them have them on the end product, they have it on an ingredient. I mentioned that it was 3 to 6% increase. Do you want to tell people the percentage of increase in collagen we saw in our studies that Nu Skin can claim?
I think right now our studies, it varies with the individual and how much damage has occurred in the skin and so on, but we see at least about 20% and so on.
And I've heard up to 60. Is that?
Yeah, it could well be. That's why I say it depends on the individual, right? So, but the thing is, it's definitely, whatever the amount of collagen or percentage collagen that we make, it actually, your skin improves. You can see it after taking the Beauty Focus product for a month or so. You know, that's really what counts, right? So, and that's important. Now, there's another third ingredient in there. And that's why I don't like to call our Beauty Focus the collagen product. The third ingredient is called ceramide. One of the most important benefits that you can give to the skin is moisturization. In other words, you have to keep it hydrated. And this particular ingredient called the ceramide, it actually holds on to water almost like a sponge. It's a waxy molecule that has the chemical property of holding on to water. Can you imagine when you put a sponge, I will use that as an analogy, under your skin? Can you imagine your skin will continue to be hydrated far longer than you wouldn't have with this particular ingredient? You see?
Because I noticed, I mean, even on Zoom, I noticed people were saying, wow, your skin is glowing. Yeah. And since you, I mean, you know, I use all the Nu Skin products. I love it. Someone asked in the questions, does Dr. Chang take Collagen Plus? I'm like, I imagine he does.
I'll tell you a story. I test all the products that we develop first. They give it to me on Friday. And then if I turn up for work on Monday, they know that product is safe.
I always tell people we don't test on animals, but we do test on scientists.
Exactly. So we are the perfect guinea pigs, if you will. So my scientist said, you're very replaceable. So why don't you test all the products?
That's why we need 75 of them. We have to have 75 in case we knock a few off.
Exactly, we knock a few off. Some of the products are too toxic or has too many side effects. Anyway, so that's the reason. You can see when I give you that explanation why we have included those ingredients in the final product. It's because each one adds on to the benefit that that particular ingredient delivers.
So they actually have the synergistic effect.
Yeah, they're synergistic. You hydrate, you keep your skin moisturized, you protect the new collagen that's being made by this collagen peptide in Beauty Focus. You work together in a very, very synergistic, like you say, way, and they all fit together like a glove. So that's really what it is. Now, many of you also may have sort of looked at our device called LumiSpa. You know, that's an external device that you use to clean your skin and it remove any impurities from the pores and so on. And it's great. And the clinical studies that we've done with LumiSpa shows that it really delivers, improves the radiance, the texture, and so on. So we asked the question, what happens when you take this particular beauty focus supplement and over time, does it make the LumiSpa perform better or vice versa? In other words, are they synergistic together? And the clinical study that we have shows that it does. They seem to complement each other so well that when you take the beauty focus, your LumiSpa will perform better. So
I have a question on that someone sent me earlier, which is, you know, I love that you focused on, of course, different people have different results. Yeah. That's why we never promise anything. But if someone says, look, I've been on it 60 days, I'm not seeing the results I was hoping for, what would you tell them? Because I'm like, get one of these and yes, enhance it. But what else would you say? Is there a reason they may not be seeing the results?
I think, first of all, you have to take the oral supplement on a regular basis, right? We recommend that you take it Europe, I shouldn't use pouch, ready to drink in the US. Anyway, 2 doses of our, call it the beauty focus product, whether it's in powder form or the liquid form. And then regularly, you cannot miss a particular day. Then you can start to see the results fairly quickly. I think you're not going to see results sort of like within a week, you know, but over a month, I think most people were starting to feel, and when they look in the mirror and so on, they're going to see those benefits, visible benefits.
Well, and I also think, and you know, I know we haven't done the studies on this, so I shouldn't talk about it, but it's the most common protein in the body, correct? Collagen?
Yes.
The building block of everything.
Yeah.
So theoretically, you may have repair work going on internally that you're not seeing on your skin right away.
Okay, say that again.
I'm trying not to say what I'm not supposed to say.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm just going to say it. Theoretically, could it work on joints? Could it work on muscles? Could it work?
Other non-skin benefits.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. This particular peptide has been tested outside of Nu Skin as well in academic labs. All right, and other non-Nu Skin related studies. So those studies would show that it does have some benefits away from the skin, like nails. Okay, nails appear to respond to this particular collagen peptide. All right, and there's some evidence in general that if you use the right collagen, it also could have other benefits like joints and so on and so on. We haven't done the study, so we never claim that. All right, so.
And have we done the study? I know we're seeing it. I know I'm seeing it in my hair and nails, which since Life Pack have grown like weeds, but good weeds, but we'll say wildflowers. My hair and nail grow like wildflowers.
Okay.
But have we done studies on hair and nails yet?
Not internally, not yet. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what is the source of our collagen?
Okay. You know, it's animal based, but it's not a particular one. Mainly it comes from cattle, cows in general, the tendons and so on, where it's isolated. Now, the thing to remember is we are talking about a fragment of collagen. That means we have cleaned out everything. We just don't take that animal collagen and put it into the product. It has been processed and sort of decontaminated, sterilized, and so on. So this collagen peptide that we have, although it comes from animal sources, it's really not the animal collagen anymore.
And I want to make clear, and you can just validate if I'm accurate, but we don't actually go out and slaughter animals.
We don't. You don't know. It's we don't. Yeah.
We use the leftovers of animals that have already been.
Yeah.
That have already, unfortunately.
The byproduct from that industry.
Right. But we cannot claim that it's vegan, nor do we.
No, it's not a.
And is there a way to get a decent collagen that's plant-based? I mean, is it, I haven't seen one that's.
No, collagen, no plant will make collagen. When people talk about vegan collagen, they're really talking about collagen that is obtained from fish. Okay, there is some fish collagen out there. The thing is, coming back to the previous comment that I made, collagen is collagen because they consists of amino acids all sort of bonded together, right, in a particular sequence. If those amino acids, regardless of the source, if they are not bonded in the right sequence, they won't give you the same effect. So you can take as much vegan, so-called vegan collagen that you like and so on, but it won't deliver the same benefits because the amino acids, they have to come together in the right sequence.
Right.
Okay.
Someone wrote in the chat, does the lutein help with eye health?
Very good question too. Yes, there's enough scientific evidence to suggest that the eye, especially the back of the eye, the retina, is a good place to where lutein is deposited. And some of this lutein that you have in Beauty Focus will get to the back of the eye as well. So it is a good protection. Yeah, people don't realize that when we see something, right, that means light is entering through your eyes, and the light that's coming in has to be focused onto the back of the retina. Unfortunately, when you do that, it also has the potential to damage your retina because light has energy. It's almost like a laser coming through, It's not as powerful, but that's what the eye does. It converges. It focuses the light onto a very small area on the retina, and then if you have lutein in that area, it will sort of lessen the possible damage to the retina.
So I want to clarify this one question. Everyone needs to understand that Dr. Chang is in charge of Nu Skin globally, so 50 markets. So in the US, we take one pouch a day. That's what the dosage is.
Yeah.
But we have in other markets, we have a powder form, and it's a good time to transition into questions about the powder form, and the dosing may be different, but is there a nutritional difference between the powder form and the liquid form?
There's absolutely no difference. The only reason why we have the liquid form in the US is because we Americans are very lazy consumers. All right? We Americans, we really like to take things very quickly. So if you give them a powder form, they're so lazy, they do not want to open up the jar, take some powder out, and mix it up in some liquid and drink it. They rather have a liquid already available where you open up the pouch and just suck it down. That's the American way, unfortunately. So it's a consumer preference and not a scientific preference between the two forms of dosage forms, or two versions of the product. Yeah, in the rest of the world, we launched the powder form, which is actually, I mean, it's good because I can mix, frankly, I prefer that. In fact, I use the rest of the world version because I can take the powder and put it into any drink, orange juice, you know, cranberry juice, whatever, even plain water. I can flavor it to whatever that I prefer. So, and it works just as well, no problem.
And I find myself with the pouches, I know it's okay to mix if you want to mix them, but I just suck that down. I mean, I love it. So I want to ask you, because, you know, I eat all organic. And I will often get people who say, you know, oh, well, this collagen is medical grade, or this collagen is FDA approved. Do those mean anything? Do those monikers mean anything?
No, it really doesn't mean anything. We all have to abide by what we call good manufacturing practices. All right. So what does medical grade mean? It just tells the consumer that maybe it's clean, maybe has been manufactured in the right way, right? We've always done that in Nu Skin, right? I mean, our manufacturers and our processes, we have this process that we call the 6S process, okay? That we have it in the Nu Skin. In fact, we developed that in Pharmanex and brought it over to Nu Skin 23 years ago. And it continues to govern and regulate all our manufacturing processes. Okay.
So tell us, can you go into a little bit of depth about, because I was pleasantly surprised to find that in many cases, the ingredients that Nu Skin uses are actually more pure than what it would take to be certified organic. So do you want to explain a little bit more in depth about the 6S process?
Yeah, okay. Couple of things. The 6S process, I mean, from the very get-go, when Pharmanex came into Nu Skin, we say we have the 6S process. Nobody understood what that meant until we say it's really the only way to make a safe, consistent, effective product. It's all about those three words, right? The 6S process includes the ability to identify and establish specifications for a product, okay? So since we're using natural ingredients, it's something that we have to know the nature and the identity of that natural ingredient before we proceed to make that product. Think about it. For most of the wine drinkers of the world, right? Why is it that every year, the wine that comes up even from the smallest vineyard varies from year to year? And that is because you cannot control the weather. You cannot control the soil that the grape comes from, right? And all these factors, temperature, amount of rainfall, sun changes in humidity and whatever, they all directly affect the quality of the grape. So if you take that grape, I'll use the grape example. If you just take the grape and say, oh, it's a good thing for you, we should make a product out of it. If you take that grape and you grind it up and put it into a capsule, it might be good one year. It might not be the same grape the next year. The 6S process takes away those uncertainties because we analyze and make sure that we have the right amount of active ingredients in that grape before we put it into the final product. Like Beauty Focus collagen, we know exactly that collagen peptide we have to put 2 grams in there, but if you put 2 grams of the original collagen, you don't really know what you have put in. But we do through the 6S process. is that consistency. You buy a product or you use one of our products today, we can guarantee you get the same identical product next year, the second year, 5 years from now, forever, because we have the success process. It guarantees the consistency of the product, right?
And do you remember what the S's are off the top of your head? Because
Right.
I always try and do it. I'm like,
Okay, let's test me out, right? The first S is safety. We want to make sure natural ingredients, they don't really immediately and automatically translate safe. If I sell you a product made from cobra venom, would you take it? It's a natural ingredient.
so is ours.
It's silly to say all natural ingredients are safe. We have to make sure, and we have to do the testing of that. Another one is standardization. I just mentioned to you. How do you make a consistent product? You have to standardize it to the right amount and to the right active ingredient. And then after we've done that and make the product, we have to substantiate the benefits delivered by the products. That's the third S. You know, and the only way to do that, just don't say, this product is good for you, and that's good enough. We have to do the scientific studies. That's the substantiation part of the process. We have to set the specifications. That's another S, okay? And then we have to do the structure of the active ingredients. How do you specify if you don't know the identity of the active ingredient? So you have to chemically, our chemists literally have to take that extract and put it into a, oh my goodness, $500,000 machine and all that, and say, okay, this is the anthocyanins, this is the collagen plus whatever. We know the identity, okay? And then what else? That's the safety, so there's another S that we do is specifications. We have substantiation, standardization. I think I've done all the S's except one maybe.
One of the things that I learned from you about the structure, for example, is like with a green tea product.
Yes.
In most green tea products, they just grind up the whole plant and call it a green tea product.
Yeah.
And the source, oh, someone else said that we forgot source. So where
There you go, where that raw material comes from.
and where
Very good. Thank you, Sophia.
and show you the selection.
Yeah, that's one of the possible of that.
But like with our green tea product, which is called Tea Green, which has been used at universities to do studies of green tea because of the purity, you actually identify the structure of the plant and select for the piece that works for what we're trying to do. Is that accurate?
Right, the active ingredient, yeah. The part of the plant that has the active ingredient.
Awesome. Well, I know we've already gone over the time that you and I had in our heads, and I told you I could listen to you all day and do this all day, but we want to keep it short. So I'm gonna ask one question that people are. Meta. When will the rest of the world see Meta? So for those of you who don't know, Meta is a product that you've been developing, correct?
Yeah, 7 years. That one even took longer.
And you've been dropping hints about it for 7 years. And again, you only do it if it's going to be done right. Do you have any idea when different markets will be seeing Meta? I personally am on it. And we had a private conversation yesterday. My results have been phenomenal.
Yeah. The preview will start by the end of this year. So it's November now. So I'm gonna say sometime late December, we will be starting to launch the Meta product. And then definitely over the next 6 months, most of the markets will have it, depending on the regulatory review and everything from their respective government agencies. We ought to be able to get it out within the first half of next year.
Okay. And then, well, I do want to ask this other question because we talked about it yesterday. Someone just asked if there's any potential for allergic reactions with collagen. And I know we say on the packaging, because we're very cautious that it may contain wheat and milk. And so what's the likelihood?
Very, very low, because right now as it stands, we have to do that by law. Once we have something that comes from milk or whatever, or from wheat, we have to put it. But the wheat is actually the source of this particular product that's called ceramide. Okay? And remember now, the 6S process takes the original wheat and we process it, that at the end of the day, all we have is 100% ceramide. There's no more gluten in there. But by law, the definition requires us to say, since the source from wheat, I don't care how much cleaning you have done and got rid of gluten and blah, 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 you still have to say it came from wheat and therefore it's not gluten-free.
Awesome. Well, again, we could go on all day, Joe, and I'm more questions and more, and I can't answer any of the ones on Facebook because I dropped my phone and it flew across the room. So I don't have it. But thank you so much for your time today. And we have over almost 600 people on Zoom, and we have a lot more on Facebook. So really appreciate your time. Obviously, people respect and admire you, and I'm so glad we get to work with you. And thanks for buying Nu Skin.
No, there's a joke. Don't tell Blake that.
That's a joke. It's publicly traded on the New York Stock
Absolutely.
But thanks. I want to thank our translators and Scott Van Pelt. And it's always a pleasure. And thanks everyone for calling in and for your interest in the science behind our products.
Thank you, Diana. Thanks to everybody. Hope
Thanks,
that it
Joe.
was useful to all of you. Okay.
We'll see you soon. Take